Okay, so my front discs on my 159 are horribly scored, and I've got new discs and pads to fit. When I took the wheel off, I discovered that these were the Brembo type brake, and they have a pin that fits across here and here that hold the pads in. They were seized. They were corroded in. I think at that end more than this end, but still. So the first thing I did was I took an old screwdriver and I blunted the end off it and tried to use that as a drift to drift things out, but it didn't work. So then I got an old Allen key and I cut off the end of it and ground it down a bit and tried to use that as a drift, but it bent like a banana. I don't know if you can see. Bent like a banana. No good. Also, I started out with the old trusty dead blow hammer. Didn't work. So I switched to a claw hammer that I had tap 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 with this thing. Just didn't work. Hopeless. So in the back of my mind, I knew I had the right tool for the job, but I had to go look for it in my tool drawers. Anyway, I found a punch, the correct punch for the job. Fits just right in the hole. And I got out a £3 hammer. Well, it's 1.5 kilos, I think. That's about 3.5 pounds, and something like that. And so what I did was I used this hammer and I used this punch and I whacked the hell out of it. And also, before I did any of that, I soaked everything in a penetrating fluid and left it for about half an hour. And I also tapped around these areas to try and help the vibration soak the penetrating fluid in. So the conclusion to all of this is penetrating fluid, the correct punch for the job, and a big hammer, and whack the hell out of it. And I'd say if you haven't got a punch, go out and buy one, because it made all the difference. You can see how this little punch I made myself bent up in 2 seconds flat. No use at all. Spend your money, get a decent punch. That's my advice. Oh, and one other thought. Now that I've loosened these off, this old screwdriver here actually is just the right size to carry on drifting out the pins all the way through, because the punch that I've got is conical and stops after the first sort of centimetre or two. But this will go all the way through. So here's the offending article. Anyway, I hope that helps.